Where did God come from? Would it feel like a cop-out to say he's always existed? It'd feel that way. But that's not quite right. See, our language is built around a time frame. We have past tense, present tense, future tense. Everything we say has a time associated with it. And so even talking about time is difficult. One example of an analogy of how we could even begin to think about how difficult this is we know that the alphabet starts with A, goes to B, C, all the way down to Z. The question, though, is what comes before A? We don't know. There isn't really a good way to answer that question because it's not really an answer we can give. Similarly with time. God has always existed, but the word has is past tense, which begs a question of when did it start? So it's better to say God is, God exists, He was, He is to come. I can see how that would feel a little strange, but time, what is it? Time is a measurement of change. So let's pretend and imagine a world where there was no change. No molecules spinning, nothing moving whatsoever. If we could get to a purely, completely stopped existence, there would be no time. God doesn't change. So prior to creation, there would be no time. He would exist outside of time. But by creating, he started time. So he was, before creation, in the before A space. Now, honestly, that still feels like we're cheating, right? Where did he come from? He's always existed. But the same problem exists if you take the other side of things. Where did all this matter and energy come from? If you have a starting point of creation, or Big Bang, boom, and then time goes forward, it makes sense. An infinite timeline in both directions makes far less sense, because from what I've been told, if you infinitely go backwards, you can't ever get to where we are now, which is a problem that some people have been working on, and I have never figured out what's even going on with that, so I couldn't begin to answer that question for you. So, what some societies and theorists are talking about now is a cyclical universe. Time repeating itself on an endless loop. There have been multiple examples of cultures who believe this very thing. In fact, the Mayan calendar, which came to the forefront several years ago because it was coming to an end, well, it really wasn't. It was just going to cycle back through toward the beginning. And if you have an infinite universe with constant expansion, collapse, and explosion again, that could make sense, and that could be the answer. For me, though, the question is, which makes more sense? An infinite, unchanging God prior to time? Or an infinite, constantly in flux universe? This is Theblogogy. Thanks for watching. Be sure to ask your questions down below, post your comments, and let's learn more together.